around, my friends. In the last video we have take a brief look on Android Studio user interface, and in this video we are going to start making a real progress. So let's see that in action. Now before we get started, I just want to let you know that when you are building an Android application, you will see that you are going to start with the designing the app, then moving to write the code. This will make a lot of sense once we get started. But my point here is I want you to close the Kotlin file that been opened automatically by the Android Studio. Click on the X sign right here to close it. And here I want you to open the activity underscore main.xml. Now XML, it's the design language that we are going to use to build Android applications, or sorry, to design Android applications. Now if you are confused with this window, do not worry, we are going to explain it in depth in a moment. But let me close this file just to show you that how we can access all these files that Android Studio open them automatically. So I want you to jump over to the app folder, click on the res folder, then the layout folder, like so. We have activity underscore main.xml. I'm gonna double click it to open it like so. Now let me resize this dude right here, and we have a bit of a good space that we can work with. Now the first thing first, we have some tabs and extra windows. Let us start with the palette right here. Now the palette contain all the views that Android Studio has. Now what does views mean? So in order for us to understand what does views mean, I will give you a brief definition about views. A view is anything that the user can see and interact with in your application. Okay, so let me show you this image right here. So we have, imagine that this is an Android application, okay, and here we have this image right here. Start from here all the way to here. This is a view. Okay, we have this one right here, it's a view. This image right here, also a view. This blue area right here, it's a view. This text right here, for example, this icon, these two text, all of these are views the user can see and interact with. Make sense? So all this stuff that you can see right here, these text, these icons, these images, are exist in this palette right here. Android Studio give us the ability to add all sorts of views. Now what is the good news here from Android Studio? They have divided the views depend on certain categories. For example, the common, it is presenting the top views that is being used by Android developers. We have the text category, we have the buttons category, the widgets, the layouts, containers, and so on. So these are the type of views that Android Studio provide us. Make sense? So this is the first palette right here. Of course, we have the search functionality that we can search through something specific. Okay, here on the bottom we have the component tree. The component tree contain all the views that we have added to our application. So the difference between component tree and the palette contains all the views that available by Android Studio. The component tree contains all the views that we have added to our applications. Okay, and let's move to the next tab, which is the window right here, the preview window. It is showing us a preview of how our application will look like on a real Android device. Okay, So it is like an Android device. This white area right here, of course you can drag it and drop it and change the size and so on. And here we have on the top some tabs. For example, here the first one, it is referring to the we have some, we can change how our preview looks like. We can show either the blueprint, which is like a blueprint, it is not a real design. We can show the design itself on our, it's like the preview of an Android device. We can show both of them like so. Now I am just gonna go back and show the design only. Here we can change the, let's say, the orientation from the landscape and so on. Okay, so this will, we are going to show that later on, we are when we are going to test our application for the landscape mode. Anyways, let's get it back like so. We can see from the custom, if you click on it, we are going to see all the Android devices that available from, for example, Nexus or Pixel or all these stuff. Okay, this will come very handy once we are going to test our application for different screens and so on. We have this one right here, which we are going to describe the version, okay, for our API and so on. But I mean, this one, it's automatically being added by Android Studio. This is the version of the API that we are going, that Android Studio support for our application, but we are not gonna touch it because that will cause a lot of problems. So that's why you need to be careful of some tabs. Anyways, you click on it. Later on, maybe we are gonna change it, but I don't recommend you do anything like this. This will cause a problem. However, we have the app theme right here. Essentially, it is describing some themes that are pre-built by Android Studio, and we are going to ignore it because later on we are going to show you how to change this dynamically. Okay, this is describe the language and how we can support multiple language in our application. So that's why we can add it from this, and I will show you later on how to do so. Here we have the zoom out and zoom in buttons, and here on the bottom we have some stuff that is related to the constraint layout. And if you do not know what does constraint layout mean, do not worry, I'm gonna explain that in the next few videos and which types of layouts that we already have. So, and the last window right here, which we are gonna explain it once we come to add some views. So that was our lesson. We have explained about more of the user interface of Android Studio, and we can see that now you are a bit more, you are now familiarized with Android Studio. I don't encourage you now to start designing because you just still a beginner. Okay, in this video we have explained the palette, the component tree, all these buttons, and how you can open the XML file like so. Now in the next few videos we are going to give you the ability to design, but I just wanna explain everything in details, so be patient, please be patient. This is really important. Now thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next one.